Starting with food is a way to give yourself the best chance to take that next step toward better health.
Hey friends, welcome to Keep It Simple Sexy. I'm Christine Bullock, founder of KO Body Care, certified fitness trainer and mom of 2 little girls who's just trying to juggle it all and feel as good as possible. I'm so grateful that you're here. Now let's get started, sexy. Hello everyone, I'm Christine Bullock. How are you feeling today? Thanks for tuning back to Keep It Simple Sexy, where we get back to the basics of feeling and looking your best. Today, we're going to discuss one main topic that I find most of my clients forget when working towards their fitness, beauty, or longevity goals: diet. And not the diet as in the restrictive verb, but as in the noun form, meaning nourishment to the body and sometimes soul. If you're ready to reach your goals, then stay tuned for today's plant-based powerhouse, Whitney Tingle, the co-founder and co-CEO of Sakara Life. Whitney and her close pal, Danielle DuBoise, launched Sakara Life in 2012, and since then they have transformed millions of lives while collecting a clientele of some of the most beautiful women and men in the world, such as top models and actresses, through Sakara's signature meal program, their functional products, and their supplements. These are the women that are putting healthy meal delivery on the map, and on any given day, you can find me dreaming about Sakara's plant-based meals like the butterfly bowl, the 5-herb pesto pasta, the beet burger, or the blueberry earth cake with peach cinnamon topping. And in fact, Whitney has been honored by Forbes 30 Under 30, Mind Body Green's 100 Women in Wellness, Goldman Sachs Advocate for Plants as Medicine, and she is a national best-selling author of Sakara's debut cookbook, Eat Clean, Play Dirty, which I love. And she's also the co-host of the podcast, Sakara Life Podcast, so you can go and tune in and subscribe there. Next, welcome to the show, Whitney.
Hi, Christine. So great to be here.
Wonderful to have you. I mean, I have been enjoying Sakara Life maybe since 2012. It's been a long time. Love your meal plan.
It's been a long time. And I loved getting to hear your introduction to the podcast and hear that all of this was born out of your own personal journey and your own personal struggle. I find that that's so common with wellness companies and is the same reason why I got into this as well.
Well, let's just dive into it then. Tell us, why, well, maybe first what plant-based means to you.
Sure.
Sakara Life is a plant-based, and that is, your cookbooks. It's all based on that. And I think people get that confused sometimes with vegan and vegetarian.
Yes.
I know I get the
so
DMs
much.
all the time that I'm vegan. I'm like, I'm not vegan. I'm plant-based.
Exactly. And, and I think a plant-based means different things to different people. When we first got into what we're doing and started Sakara, people weren't using the term plant-based. It didn't really exist. It wasn't part of the common vernacular. People used vegan or vegetarian, but plant-based wasn't a thing. And so when Danielle and I started Sakara, what plant-based meant to us and what it means to us right now is that we base our diet on plants. We live a plant-based diet and lifestyle, so basing it on plants, getting enough plants into our diet, into our bodies, and then everything else that we eat on top of that doesn't come from plants is just the little toppings and, added things on top. But the main bulk of the diet is plants. And I think that's important because being vegan means that you don't eat any animal products, and it really focuses on what you're not eating. And when it comes to the Sakara Life lifestyle, we created our own proprietary nutrition philosophy based on our 9 pillars of nutrition. It all focuses on what you're getting into your diet, focusing on getting enough organic plants, enough leafy greens, about 6 cups of leafy greens per day, enough diversity and variety, colors on your plate, eating hydrating foods. I think before Sakara, I thought I was eating healthy. I was eating, high fiber, organic cereal or gluten-free crackers and, all of these different snack items that came in bags or packages that say that they're healthy and natural and organic and all these things, but they're really dehydrating and they don't have all those nutrients, all the phytochemicals and polyphenols that real plants have that go in and tell your body how to function. Food is not just about energy, it's not about calories or even grams of protein, fat, carbs, etc. Food is information and it's informing your body how to function every single day.
Yeah, so important. And I think too, like, when I started to lean more towards the plant-based diet. So I should back up. So when I was in college, I think I lived off of the old whey protein bars because this is like 25 years ago. So it was like only whey bars back then. And from GNC or wherever you grow up, like the small little sports bars. And tuna and eggs. But I was like, I had thyroid issues. And so it was like, I just needed lots of protein. And so it was a transition for me. And as I started to go in the plant-based, I just realized how much my body was lacking. And that was the time too, where I had already thrown my hormones out even worse from not having the nutrients my body really needed to function properly and find that homeostasis in that balance. And within that you find, and the more that I've discovered through, which we'll break into, I'm sure, like learning more and more about plant-based, like you're saying, not just feeding off of the gluten-free crackers or the rice cakes or whatever that is that you think is healthy, that it just improves your life so much, honestly, from your energy to your mood, to your hormones, to your beauty, to everything.
Yeah. And I think, protein is just one aspect when it comes to supporting your body and your body's needs. I'm really big on microbiome health. So what's going on inside of your gut and those trillions of microbes that are doing everything from dictating your energy levels to your hormones, your brain chemicals. 90% of your serotonin is created in the gut. But then also how many calories you absorb from your food or the nutrition that you are absorbing from your food. So, Christine, you and I could sit down to the exact same meal or even a 100-calorie snack pack, let's say, and both eat it, but absorb different amounts of calories from that exact same 100-calorie snack pack based on what's going on. I'm currently breastfeeding. I have a large 1-year-old baby boy with lots of energy. And so I know that my body and my metabolism is doing everything it can to absorb as much as possible from the food that I'm eating. And maybe, you are very active. And so your body, might need to absorb.
I'm sitting at a desk a lot, so I'm absorbing less.
Well, and
so
your
there
body
you go. That's the comparison currently.
and your metabolism can change based on what
Yeah.
you're doing. If you're sitting at your desk or if you're super active and you're teaching your fitness classes.
Yeah.
And so we need to be thinking about food from that perspective, that it's not just about what's on your nutrition label, and leaving it up to, somebody else to tell you, and this is how many calories something has, and this is something you need, but starting to tune in to this food as information. Am I getting the nutrients I need to support my body? And tuning into your own body intelligence, listening. Am I hungry? Am I full? How am I feeling? Am I eating because I'm feeling really nervous and anxious right now? Or am I not eating enough because I'm feeling really nervous and anxious right now? And starting to tune into that voice that we all have, that body intelligence to help guide us.
Were you always in tune with that? Were you always living a plant-based diet, or was this something that was a transition, even before Sakara life came along for you, and a journey?
I'd say that I was raised with a healthy mindset. I was that kid, my mom never let us have the Wonder Kids bread in the house or
Me
the fruit
too.
snack gushers and
I said I
those
have
types of things.
100-grain bread that was like you'd have to get it out of the freezer.
Yes, me too. And I was always like, why is the bread in the freezer? But now I get
Yeah.
it. And,
Our poor hands.
and my mom like grinding her own peanut butter type of thing.
Mhm.
Um, And as a kid, I, I found that very annoying. I was like,
Yeah, I
Mom, why
wanted
can't I just
Doritos and
have the
Oreos.
same? Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm so happy that I was raised with exposure to all of those different kinds of foods. But, getting into college, getting into early adulthood, I started to rely on what was fast, what was easy, as I think most people do, which led to, I'd say, bread, meat, cheese, coffee, and alcohol being my 5 major food groups. You
But I think
which
for most, I've been through those periods, and sometimes I still am as a mom every few days or so, you
Yeah,
know?
I know it's really easy, and it's really easy to go into a mode of, like, 100 different forms of avocado toast, or just cheese and crackers lunch,
So
and
true.
but the body craves nutrition from plants. It
Mhm.
craves diversity, so getting lots of different types of plants into your body. There was this great study the Human Microbiome Project did that, their goal was to map the microbiome and to look at what does a healthy microbiome look like. Is there some sort of formulation of different bacteria and microbes and fungus, et cetera, in your gut that makes for the healthiest person possible? And they looked at all of these different types of people and mapped their guts and the microbes, and they couldn't find what is the healthiest um, gut. What does that look like? They looked at young people, they looked at older people, they looked at people in different regions around the world. And one thing that they did find that was in common that they could point to say, this is what creates a strong microbiome. This is what creates resiliency. It builds your immune system. And that is eating a diet that has diversity. So the average American is eating around 12 to 15 different plant species in a week. And the Human Microbiome Project said, in order to strengthen your gut and strengthen your immune system, you need to be eating at least 35 different species in a week. On Sakara, you're getting upwards of 180 different plant species per week into your body. Different types of nuts and seeds and vegetables and grains and plant oils, all of these different things that go in and contain different types of nutrient profiles, different antioxidants and vitamins and minerals, and feed your body different things. If you're eating the same foods every day, you're only getting that specific list of nutrients into your body. And that goes in and it helps strengthen your health and strengthen your immune system, strengthen your microbiome. Um, and so, that was a hard change for me to make, to go from, eating these simple foods that stay for a lot, alive in your refrigerator for a long time. Like,
Mhm.
your cheese would last there all week, whereas these vegetables, you'll buy them at your farmer's market on the weekend, and then by middle of the week, you open up your fridge and everything is starting to look a little sad and wilty if you don't eat it. And it
Yeah,
takes
or haven't
time
had
to
the
cook
time to.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
and make it, and it takes thought and it takes effort. It's not just something you can grab out of your fridge and eat it right away. So, it did take time for me to make this transition into eating a lot of plants and eating a variety of plants. And that's really where Sakara came from. The need. I had the physical need to do that, which we can get into, but then
Mhm.
just finding that it was hard to do for myself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would love to hear like, what the physical need was for you as well, but I absolutely agree. I feel like you guys take the guesswork out of it, even for somebody who understands, okay, I need this many veggies. And that's kind of interesting to say it was, even more than I thought, but you think about it, it's like I try to do a lot of prep, and it's still a lot to think of new recipes that incorporate all of that, especially as a mom. So you're not double cooking. What can they eat as well? Um, I don't have the time and I'm not getting that in. And that's what I love about the Sakara Life meal plan is that you guys take the guesswork out of it for me. And that you have like different meal plans too. So it doesn't have to be every single meal, but I could at least be
Right.
like on the lunches and know that I'm getting that. And then whatever I'm cooking the kids and stuff like that too. So I'm getting that variety within my week each week for truly what my body needs. And I mean, you're talking about the microbiome. How do you feel like our diet and our health is completely interrelated, other than the
Yeah.
microbiome, which is kind of connected to, but just like our beauty as well?
Yes. Well, so that is a big part of the reason why I got into this. And my story for starting Sakara, Danielle has her own reasons and her own health journey that was really focused around dieting, spending a lifetime of yo-yo dieting and trying everything out there. Mine came from a lifetime of battling with cystic acne. I had terrible cystic acne, big red cysts all over my face, painful. You know,
I used to as well.
I think so many young people do.
Hmm.
It's a common thing that so many people go through. And I was seeing all these different dermatologists, spending so much money, trying
Hmm.
everything. I was put on rounds and rounds of antibiotics.
Hmm.
I did, the different hormone pills. I was put on birth control pills at a young age. I was put on Accutane,
Me too.
which
Yeah.
it's a really serious drug. And I think that
Oh,
when you're young, you don't realize that. You just want a
they
solution.
Yeah, they actually had to put me on half the dose for twice as long because when they finally, because they warm you into it and then they put you on the full dose. Like the day after I went to the full dose, I started crying uncontrollably,
Oh
and
my
I didn't even
gosh.
know why. Like I knew head wise, I was like, okay, I know something's not right here. Like it was not like I was like didn't understand what was going on. So then they took that down, but I had digestive system problems, which they say
Yeah.
so bad afterwards, and it's taken like decades to heal
Yes.
almost from being on that.
No, for sure. I mean, they put me on Prozac, just because
Oh my god.
suicide can be a side effect,
Oh
the
my
same way that you
gosh. Yeah.
had the crying.
Mhm.
So to, prevent that, they put me on Prozac alongside it and
Can you
had me
imagine putting all
sign
these kids on both? Yeah.
no, and then had me sign a contract saying that if I were to get pregnant, they put you on 2 forms of birth control
Yep.
pills so that you don't, you're not gonna get pregnant.
Mhm.
And then they have you sign a contract saying that if you do get pregnant, you'll have an abortion because your baby will come out with birth defects.
I forgot about that. I
And they
forgot
show
about that. Yep.
you a drawing of what the baby will look like, and it's
I remember
terrifying.
that. Yeah.
And I think for me, after just years and years and years of trying all these crazy things, rounds of antibiotics, lights and lasers that peeled the skin off of my face and, you know, just left scabs, were terrible things. Um, I was sitting in the dermatologist's office on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and I had just, I'd probably paid $500 to sit in this doctor's chair for 15 minutes for him to walk in and write me another prescription for antibiotics, a mega round, 3 months of heavy duty antibiotics. And he hands it to me, and I look at it and I said, I'm not doing this. I've already done this. I'm not doing it again. And he said, okay, well, the only other option for you is Accutane. And I said, well, I've already done that as well, and it didn't work for me. And he said, well, then I don't have anything else for you, kid. And I'm out of time, and walked
Oh
out.
my gosh.
And I sat there in the chair holding these 2 prescriptions, crying. And this voice inside of me was just at this point yelling. It had been there as a whisper, it had been there, like, hey, you know what you need to do. Hey, like, don't do this. And at this point, it was just yelling at me, like, don't do it. It's not the answer. You need to go inside and figure out what is the root cause. This acne, this is just symptoms of something else that is going on inside of your body, and you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so it was that moment that I decided I need to go back to my roots, how I was raised with my upbringing of the what did you call it? 1,000-grain bread
Yes.
and the hand ground
I had wheat
peanut butter.
germ in my cereal, powdered vitamin C in my orange juice. Yep.
Yeah. And just the belief and um, understanding of the mind-body food connection, and
Mhm.
that if given the proper tools, the body can do amazing things for itself. It can heal so many different things. Um, and so I needed to give it the right tools, and I needed to give it to the right nutrition. I needed to give it, the right information, inform it how to function properly. So I turned back to my Sedona roots, and I turned back to my best friend, Danielle, who was on her path to go to medical school and on her own journey, seeing late stage lifestyle disease patients at St. Luke's Hospital, people with type 2 diabetes, with heart disease, and seeing that these diseases are influenced by our lifestyle, yet nobody in the hospital, this was over a decade ago, nobody was in the hospital was talking about or teaching people how to change their lifestyle, what to eat, how to exercise, how to manage mental stress, talking about, personal happiness in career, in life. And so she decided that she wanted to be on the other side of medicine, that instead of getting to people when they really did need pharmaceutical intervention or surgery, she wanted to be on the other side and help people learn how to get healthy and stay healthy before they got to that point.
Mhm.
So she shifted her path to go to nutrition school. And we both at that point were really at our rock bottom, needing this solution, and came together to figure it out and dig into the research, study about microbiome, study about epigenetics, and how what you eat and your environment affects which genes are turned on and off in your body. um, Learn about all the different vitamins and minerals that your body needs on a daily basis. Learn about, also combined with how we were raised in these different food philosophies that have been around for thousands of years, things like
Mhm.
Ayurveda. Taoism has its own food philosophy. There's macrobiotics. And we started to pull the threads from these different philosophies and saw there was a lot of overlap. A lot of what modern science is having to say was actually proving out what ancient science had been telling us for thousands of years. And we pulled those together. We married this, modern cutting edge nutrition science with this ancient wisdom and put
Mhm.
together our nutrition pillars. And from that started to create recipes and meals and just try it out on ourselves. And, it started from there. And then friends and family were like, wow, you look different. You act different. Your skin's different. Your body's different. Can you just make me some of whatever you're making? And that's really how it started. We realized that what we had discovered was so much bigger than just two young women trying to fix their own health problems. This was information that we needed to share with the world. And so it put us on a mission in that moment to share this information with as many people as possible.
And we're all so happy, thank goodness. I mean, making just really easing the confusion around plant-based meals and getting the nutrients that we need, and just delivering it to your front door, which is awesome.
Yeah. And I think, we're all about what you do the majority of the time. So we're not saying never, not eat your favorite foods, never, avoid
Yeah.
a hamburger and french fries and a milkshake, like if that's what you love to eat. We're saying make sure that you're getting the nutrients into your body, the materials that your body needs to create the proteins and the enzymes and the hormones and the antioxidants, and to function properly, to
Yeah.
feed your microbiome and your body as a whole.
The Keep It Simple Sexy podcast is brought to you by KO Body Care. Uh-oh, guys, I'm going to fill you in on something. My pants are fitting a little tight today because I made some sugar cookies with Remy over the weekend. Have you guys ever felt the same? A little bloated, ate something that didn't mix well with your tummy? Well, I'm going to let you in on my personal hack. KO Body Care's clean plant-based supplement, Bloat Be Gone, and it will be gone. As the founder and CEO of KO, we spent so long getting these formulas perfect, and this one really works instantly. Our customers are just as obsessed with it as I am. What I love about this one is that it soothes bloating and digestive discomfort fast while healing over time. So I always slip this one in my purse when I'm going out to dinner, and that way I can throw it in some water, drink it, and feel great. Try it out for yourself and see the bloat and discomfort start to disappear, leaving you feeling your best. Head to kobodycare.com and use our code KISS20 for 20% off your first purchase. Still trying to break up with your sugar habit? Well, Sakara's clean, plant-rich, ready-to-eat meals nourish your body with whole, organic ingredients that retrain your palate and help you break up with your sweet tooth for good. Along with the delicious plant-rich meals, Sakara also offers daily wellness essentials like supplements and herbal teas to support your nutrition. Experience their best-selling Metabolism Super Powder and Metabolism Super Bar to control sugar cravings, reduce your bloating, boost your energy, and reduce your fatigue. And don't forget, we've offered a special discount for 20% off your first-time purchase of $100 or more with the KISS podcast code PN_KISS podcast. Head to sakaralife.com to get your first order. Back on that too, it's like I talked about my hormonal problems, and that led almost like a decade later to from the acne to then fertility issues when we were trying to have babies. And then I personally went through 5 years of the fertility drugs, all failed, and just no healthy eggs all the time but I had the little voice in my head too that kept saying, do it naturally, figure out what's going on, do it naturally. And eventually I started to figure out, okay, these are the hormonal problems that are causing this. And I just went on that whole natural journey too of like fully cleansing, really looking at what I'm consuming mentally, as well emotionally. And I think too, when you become very present first in what you are eating and how you're preparing your food, how it is prepared, you become more present in your life too. It is amazing, the
Yes.
interconnection, whether it's the chicken or the egg of like when you're eating it, then you're not present. Who knows? But it was all of those things together. And then I naturally got pregnant and, everything worked out for me. So I say that to our viewers that if you're hearing that little sound for whatever you're going through, it's obviously not just food, but I think that is one of the first things we can take control of. It's sometimes hard to take control of our emotions or of our thoughts and all of that, something to work towards, but we truly have control of what we eat.
I agree. I think that the mental stress, the stress from our work, from our family, from our lives is hard to manage. But you can start to take choices to manage the stress that you put into your body through diet and to alleviate some of those stressors by choosing organic, by giving your body enough nutrition, proper nutrition. I also found myself in fertility struggles. I think a lot of it does come from a disrupted microbiome through those years and years of antibiotics and birth control pills and Accutane, through years of not eating a healthy diet and putting my body through stress. And um, I I got pregnant right away on my very first try, and I was surprised but excited, and then I went through a miscarriage. And after the miscarriage, I wasn't getting pregnant for about a year, and so I thought I would see a fertility doctor. And that fertility doctor told me, "Oh, you're never gonna get pregnant on your own. You're never gonna get pregnant naturally. This is the only solution for you. You need my help, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is just the way that it is." And I had that voice inside of me again saying, I don't think that this is true, and I want to try to do it on my own. And I mean, I think IVF is incredible and
Mhm.
I'm a huge proponent of it. But for me in that moment, I didn't feel like it was the right path for me. And I ended up getting pregnant on my own. And it was through just like what you're talking about, taking steps to further get to know myself, talking to different healers, going to acupuncture,
Mhm.
taking the time for myself, starting to say no to the
Mhm.
events and the things.
The overload. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, and to other stressors. I had to completely quit coffee and alcohol completely.
Mhm.
Um, and I talk about this on our Sakara Life podcast. I've done episodes on my fertility journey. And after I had someone write to me on Instagram and say, after listening to your podcast, I decided to cut down my caffeine and alcohol intake. I'm only doing 1 cup of coffee a day and 1 glass of wine at night. And I said, you might as well just go all in. Like, this
Yeah.
is your chance to really give it a shot and to show that little spirit baby on the other side that just how much you want them to be in your life, that you are willing to give up something you love, to sacrifice your coffee and your wine in order to make a place for them in your life. And that energetic exchange, I think, is really real. Um, and she was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going all in. I'm going to cut it out. And I haven't reached out to see how she's doing, but I really do hope that her dreams came true, because I know that making these lifestyle changes can make a really big impact on your life and your health and your
Mhm.
fertility.
It's so true. I love that. And I love that you said making the space. In general, I feel like there are signs in our life, there are times in our life, and we've all been through it. May not have been fertility, maybe for somebody else it was acne, maybe for somebody else it was some kind of disease, or it was just a work issue or relationship issues, whatever it may be. But I feel like they're all opportunities for growth, to make space for those better things, to find that we're running too much and running too fast. And I also needed to really find space for that baby to come to this world, and had been through a few miscarriages as well, through the process. And then same thing though for work. If I need to find space for another project, it's like I need to see how I need to change up, like not going to events or cutting, hiring somebody in to do another portion of it, whatever it may be. But we just need to take those somewhat not so great things that we see and just change them. Like, we can turn it into something really positive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I love that. That was a little turn of what we're going to go into, but it's so true. I mean, food is just
It,
so connected. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. I mean,
it's
it's
connected to
we
every
live it. Yes.
aspect of life. It
Yeah.
really is, and that's why we started with food. Ultimately, our goal at Sakara is to help you build the life that you dream of, so that you can share your light, your gifts that you bring into the world with other people and with the world. And it starts with food. Food is the foundation. If you don't feel good in your body, if you don't feel healthy, if your hormones aren't balanced, if you don't have energy, if you don't have brain clarity, you're not going to show up as your best in your relationships, at work, with your family, and all areas of your life. So starting with food is a way to give yourself the best chance to take that next step toward better health. Just like what you said, it's hard to control those other stressors in your life, but food is one place where you can really make an impact, and make an impact quickly. I'm talking about like in one day, just changing, getting like 6 cups of leafy greens into your diet, I think is a great place to start, because it's something tangible, tactical. Okay, get 6 cups of leafy greens. Doesn't matter the kind, if it's arugula, spinach, kale, mescaline, whatever type you want to go for. And start getting it into your meals. Like if you're having a smoothie for breakfast, blend it into a handful of spinach into your smoothie. If you're making a soup for lunch, throw some greens into the soup and stir it in at the end. If you're having a sandwich or even a slice of pizza, like pile it into your sandwich or pile it on and make a pizza salad. And even that is going to start changing, shifting the bacteria in your gut within 16 hours of eating it, feeding those microbes that feed off of that plant fiber, off those leafy greens, which then sets off a whole network effect of producing postbiotics and making different things that your body needs in order to really function at its best. And you're going to notice that change right away. So that's one of the reasons that I love food as one of the very first steps for transformation in any area of your life.
I'm inspired too, because I need to get back to even eating more based on what you're saying too. And it like gets me excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to feel healthier. And it was actually, you just went perfectly into my next question, which is for people who, want to support their health and they're ready to make these changes, but they feel like this is all so overwhelming. What are some other tips? I mean, the leafy greens, we are all on it. Everybody start eating your
Yes.
leafy greens, add them in everywhere. I love the idea of putting it even on your pizza and stuff like that. And why not throw it in a burger or anything else,
Yeah,
just to
I
make
don't
sure you're
think
getting it.
exactly. I don't think that you need to all of a sudden just completely change everything that you're eating. That can be really hard. And from a biological perspective, what you eat grows. So what you're feeding in your gut, what you're feeding in your microbiome is going to grow. And so if you're eating a lot of foods that are, like you're eating muffins or bagels for breakfast, that feeds a certain type of bacteria in your gut that's going to grow. And so if you just start cutting that out and trying to shift completely to something different, that bacteria is going to raise its hand and be like, hey, you didn't feed me yet. I haven't been fed. And it's going to send signals to your brain, making you have cravings for that bagel, for that muffin, and continue to make you feel hungry until they get fed. So I like to ease in a bit more slowly and by just adding in those leafy greens where you can, starting to add in more plant fiber, shift one meal at a time. Go for lunch, start to shift where you're having a big salad or sautéed vegetables that are or steamed vegetables with rice and beans and a variety of different types of veggies. I like to do a really easy, simple tahini sauce with tahini and some extra olive oil, a little bit of water, some lemon, some salt. Maybe I'll blend some garlic into it and put that over everything. It's so simple, it's so delicious. And that's a great way to get your body starting to become more used to eating vegetables on a regular basis. And that'll give your microbiome time to adjust to this change. And that the microbes that feed on that bagel and the muffin will start to die down a bit. And the microbes that thrive on the leafy greens and all those plant vegetables will start to build up. It's not just about eliminating out the quote unquote bad foods out of your diet. It's about building up the good foods into your diet. And the more you eat those, the more you're going to want to eat them. And they're going to be sending signals and cravings to your brain saying, hey, we need more leafy greens over here. We need more plants. And so it's not going to come down to just willpower for
I love
you,
that.
but
Yes.
actually your biology is going to be helping you to make these changes.
I love that. And do you think that the quality, I mean, we all know the quality of the ingredients are more important, obviously, like organic, but what if we're somewhere and we just go to our grocery store and we don't have the quality of ingredients. We're getting the pre-bagged Trader Joe's, sorry, Trader Joe's, but something like that. I don't know about
Well,
the quality of their foods exactly, but it's not from the farmer's market. And it's like we have in California here, our farmers like right here where we know what kind of produce we're getting.
yeah. I
I
I
guess the question
think
is like,
that
is it better to just eat it anyway and then work towards the quality? What do you think?
I think that you have to start seeking it out. So I have a lot of family in the South. My grandmother was the oldest of 8 children. She had 7 younger brothers, all farmers, all boys, all farmers. And, so I go over down to the South all the time and mainly in Arkansas. And where my grandparents, both of them passed away in the past couple of years. But before, when I'd go there was nothing around. They lived a mile down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. The grocery store closest by that had anything organic, and it was a very small selection, was an hour away. And so I had to plan in advance and I had to seek out solutions. So I would either make a grocery list, plan ahead, meal prep, and go to that grocery store and buy my things organic. Or, there are a lot of different delivery options these days, like Sakara, which will deliver down that a mile down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and deliver you your organic, ready to eat meals, but also things like Thrive Market that has so many great organic products at a discounted price. Um, you know, Lots of different places you can sign up for a CSA farm share box and start looking around. Or even if you wanted to start planting a few things in your yard and in your garden, that's also a great way to get your hands into the dirt and into the earth, which has been shown to have amazing health effects. Again, supporting your gut microbiome, supporting that diversity in your gut, and building your immune system, which I think a lot of people are interested in these days.
Those are
So
all great tips. Those are great tips. I didn't even think about any of those kind of things as, pretty affordable options as well to getting some of the basics. And even if you're living in the city, there's tons of balcony gardens now too. And they're very pretty and they bring that green to you.
Yeah, and
The green to your house.
I love starting with herbs, mint
Mhm.
and basil, chives are really delicious. Those are all things that you can grow anywhere in tiny little pots in your
Use
apartment, in your
constantly.
house. Yeah,
Mhm.
and you can make them into teas. You can do fresh mint tea with your mint. You can blend them into smoothies. Um, so many great things.
This is, if anybody else, I'm getting so hungry here. Well, I mean, so now you have a little son too, which we
I
mentioned, a 1 year
do.
old. How is it? One of the last questions I have for you. How is it? We kind of described what we grew up like. And, my house, my mom didn't really think about it. It's just the way she was. It wasn't that she was forcing us not to have the stuff. It was just like, this is what we're going to eat. Um, but how do you, are you doing the same thing? Are you repeating the same thing for your son? Or how are you making sure that he gets all of his healthy foods and his taste buds, I guess, built?
Yeah.
And kind of doing, because I hear this from parents all the
It's
time. Like
hard.
their
It's
kids eat hot
really hard.
dogs. That's it. Yeah.
And I think, you can do the best that you can as a parent, but ultimately, if the child doesn't want to eat something, he's not going to want to eat it. And I think some of my tips are don't get discouraged. If they spit it out and they don't want it one time, okay, reintroduce it again and again and again and again. And if they continue to not want it, that's okay, but eventually their taste buds can come around to it. Kids also go through different phases from a biological standpoint where they are naturally not, being cautious of certain foods and anything that feels a little bit foreign. Because, if we were all out in nature and just roaming around at a certain age where kids are able to walk, they could wander into the forest. And this helps protect them so that they wouldn't eat something potentially poisonous. So it's part of their biological safety mechanism that even though we might want them to be eating more spinach or something like that, their physical bodies might not want it right now.
That's
I
so interesting because I hear from parents all the time, like 2 years old. they're going to, cut back on whatever they're eating, however much percent. And that's probably what's that is based on. That's
I
so
mean, there's
interesting.
so many different things that go
Hmm.
into it. I like to sneak in greens into smoothies. I'll blend it into different soups and just hide things where I can, where he
Hmm.
doesn't see it, he doesn't taste it. Um, those are the ways that I like to sneak it in so that I know he's getting those into his diet. But, you just do the best that you can. Moms have enough mom guilt on us as it is. So, just know that one day
Yeah.
they're going to have to eat some vegetables.
Those are all great tips, and I truly believe in the one. I studied the French method of food training and the American and the German way because I was just so interested in this when my first daughter was born. And that was one thing that the French method, who so called their kids eat everything, said. It was like the American method said to give it like 5 times, right? One food 5 times, something like that, 3 to 5. Where the French is like, you give it like twice and then you can move on, make sure they don't have an allergy to it. And then you kind of just keep bringing it back in, though. Exactly what you're saying. So it's not like, I'm going to give it every single day and you're going to spit it out and you're going to really
Mhm.
learn to not like it because we're forcing you. But you just kind of keep bringing it back, maybe throughout a year. You never know when they'll start to like
And
something. And I believe it really works. Is for both of my daughters, they have very good palates, and one is a little bit more difficult than the other one. My first one, her favorite food is like mushrooms, pickles. She loves
wow, yeah.
mushrooms. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I
Some
think that you have to make it
olives.
taste good too.
Hmm. Yeah.
In the early days, I blended up some steamed spinach for my son, and I was giving it to him, spoon feeding it to him, and he was spitting it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
why aren't you eating this? And then I tasted it and I wanted to spit it out. I'm like, okay, this needs some salt, it needs some garlic, some olive oil. And
Yes.
I added all these different
Mhm.
things to it, and then he ate it and he loved it. Like, you need to make the food tasty and delicious and show them,
So
have
true.
them see you eating these things. I share everything off of my plate with my son, just part of the family.
I love that. Yeah. And I will say too, my girls both love their Sakara meals because I share it with them too. And especially the breakfasts and everything like that. They love those kind of like little sweet treats.
Yeah, that is
Well,
a lifesaver for me because
mhm.
it's hard. I don't have time to make myself lunch on a regular basis, let alone another person. And so I'll so often just share different pieces of my meals with my son. And it's been such a lifesaver knowing that I have something healthy in the fridge ready to go for both of us.
I love that. And, we were talking about it before, but the meal plan does make it so easy. So, for the viewers out there, it's like, if you want to just start with one meal, I love lunch because it's my midday meal. And usually I sit down with the family for dinner. So, I'll prep something. Breakfast is a little bit more simple if I have to do a smoothie, or you have your breakfast and your lunch, and you have like the 3 to 5 to 7 days, right? Or is it 3 to 5
Just do
days? I always did
3 day or
5.
5 day.
5 day. But to be even more simple, let's say you're just like, okay, I just want to start getting some nutrients. They have an amazing line of supplements as well, from kind of like a powdered greens version, like a powdered nutrients. You have your probiotics, you have your daily vitamins. They have prenatals now at this point. You have your metabolism boost, but it actually has so many. It's just like so full of nutrients for the day and a healthy kind of energy boost. And it's chocolate favorite and delicious. So there's
Yeah.
so many things that you can just start adding in that way as well. And
I
that's
love
okay.
our daily supplement packs. They're called the Foundation,
Mhm.
and it just gives you that foundation nutrition in a supplement pack. It gives you way more than just a multivitamin. You're getting superfood multis in there, but you're also getting our macro minerals, our adaptogenic B complex. You're getting an algae omega in there, just everything that your body needs from that nutritional insurance perspective to fill your nutrition gaps. If maybe every day you can't eat perfectly and you can't eat healthy, I have a healthy food company, co-founder of Sakara Life, and I can't even eat perfectly on a daily basis. So I take these as my nutritional insurance, and I just feel such a huge difference in my energy, in my brain clarity, and just in my overall health. So, if maybe the meals aren't the right place for you to start, you want to dip your toe in, supplements are a great place. Or even with our probiotic, which can really make a difference in your digestive system, in reducing bloat, really helps with skin clarity. I don't know if that was part of your journey for
Oh, for
skin
sure.
clarity, but
Yeah.
probiotics were
Yeah.
huge for me.
And the greens and getting the vegetables in,
Yes.
and cutting some of the stuff. If I eat dairy, if I eat actually dark chocolate I can eat, but if I eat any kind of other chocolate that they add the milk and the sugars in and extra sugars too, that's what breaks me out almost
Mm.
immediately. And all I have to do is clean it up a little bit. And I think a big thing for you guys out there, like you've hit on the points, is like it's a slow process and your body will start to crave those foods. So even I just came back from a 2-week vacation with the kids. I mean, you're eating out a lot, you're trying as
Yeah.
much as you can. I packed meals with I kind of like packed
Wow.
little snacks and stuff like that that I would be able to eat, as opposed to like a white bread. But you still fall off the bandwagon, you crave sugars. But it was just like a nice even process to get right back in and cleanse the body like you said, while feeding it the nutrients it needs. And now it's like I don't need to want or crave a glass of wine at night or the chocolate or, those breads and that kind of stuff that you normally have on vacation.
Yeah, and for me, it used to be the same. If I had any kind of dairy or sweets like that, I would break out. But now I've actually been able to heal my gut and build up my immune system to be strong enough to where I can have some ice cream and
Mhm.
not disrupt my skin or my digestive system.
Mhm.
If I do too much of that over and over and over again, then
Mhm.
I start to get the breakouts. I start to get
Like the
um,
bloat.
the bloat. I'll even
Mhm.
feel my anxiety starting to pick up again, or different female ecology imbalances. Yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, those types of things are also very much related. I think a lot of people who have acne have those other types of symptoms and they're not connecting the dots. They're going to see one doctor for this and one doctor for that, but really it all comes back to what's going on inside of your gut. How strong is your immune system? And food and probiotics is a great place to start to shift those things.
I'm on it too, and I'm going to get the probiotics right now because I actually haven't been on one for, you're like, how you're on and off. So I'm
Yeah.
going to grab it. And actually, by chance, guys, we have a discount code for you. On sakaralife.com. It is, I'm going to put a link in the feed as well so you can just click directly, but it is PN_KISS podcast. And that's 20% off your first time purchase of $100 or more. So stock up on the supplements or the meal delivery with that discount. All right, Whitney, we usually have like a speed round. So I'm going to
Oh,
ask you
wow. Okay.
one question for our speed round
All
because
right.
we've had so much fun talking today. Well, actually, I had two, but we'll do this one. What is your desert island Sakara meal?
Oof. That's so hard. But for a desert island Sakara meal, I would say it's our youth and beauty salad. So this is a recipe that I invented myself. I set out trying to create the most hydrating, beautifying, anti-aging meal on the planet. And I did that with this salad. It's a bed of romaine lettuce, which is really super hydrating. Sometimes people think you need to go with those ultra dark leafy greens to be the healthiest, but romaine is really great because it's over 95% water. And that goes in, it hydrates your system on a really deep level, on a cellular level. You're getting lots of different types of colorful fruits and vegetables, cucumber, which again are ultra hydrating, beets and carrots and pomegranate seeds, so filled with antioxidants that go in and help with the anti-aging, but also with microcirculation in your skin. So when you're thinking of those rosy beets, you can think about rosy in your cheeks. It also has things like hemp seeds. It has a super seed sprinkle for those healthy fats, and gamma linoleic acid, which is really great for your skin, keeping it plump. So yeah, I'd have to say that that is going to be my desert island pick.
Well, that's good. It'll keep your skin very hydrated on a desert
On a desert
island.
island, exactly. So at
And
least,
protect it.
if I'm alone on that island, at least I'm looking good, right?
We're coming for you. We're coming for you. Well, thank you so much for, beautifying our day, our menu, everything today, Whitney. It was such a pleasure to spend the time with you. And you're such a wealth of information. I hope to have you back on and we really break into some of the topics that you just touched upon today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys for tuning in to Keep It Simple Sexy today. Don't forget, you can go to sakaralife.com, use the discount code PN_KISS podcast for 20% off your first time purchase of $100 or more. Also, for lots of inspiration and to see her cute little boy, you can follow at Whitney Tingle for tons of inspiration. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're subscribed and feel free to share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Have questions you need answered? Text me at 1-310-361-8697. Make sure you're following me on social at Christine Bullock, and have a healthy, happy week. See you next time.